For practice, I go to the range with a purpose, a specific thing. And there might be many if I've got a lot to work on, but to go and practice, the point is you're going to work on something and get something out of it. And then there's going to the range before the round, and that's to warm up. That's not to practice. That's a different mindset for me. That's to just go out and kind of get the feeling of how I'm swinging it for the day, find my rhythm, see what the shots are doing. Okay, maybe it's a little draw. You know, can I hit it straight or can I hit a fade? No, I can't. Okay, I'm going to have to draw it today. And, you know, just finding out how I'm going to play. And I think that's very different than a practice session where you can get quite technical and you can get some sticks down and there's training aids and you're really thinking a lot. My warm-up is just feeling a lot more.
And can the warm-up feel-wise feel good, feel not so good? And does that ever, does that worry you going out, or can it change when you hit the course?
Yeah, you get all those kind of warm-ups. I've had great warm-ups, feeling really confident, go out there, play a terrible round of golf. I've had the worst warm-ups where it's hard to even get the ball in the air and shot some of my lowest scores. It's really, and that's why it's more about a feeling, and then, not getting too bogged down in things and not overthinking it, because you need to go out and play on the golf course and everything can change.
So if anyone's going out when they're going to go and have their next round, and what sort of time are you, how long are you taking to warm up before a round?
I'm trying to make it shorter and shorter. I usually come out to the putting green about an hour before, and I do have a bit of a routine I like to do with the putting. I always start with a straight putt at about 4 feet with an alignment aid for straight in the middle of the hole, and just train my eyes the first thing every day to look straight down the line into the middle of the hole, and that kind of sets my whole putting routine off. And then I move on to the chipping green, and again, chipping around, hitting some shots. The rough's very long here, so the chipping green over behind you all, a few in the long rough, trying to get a feel of how the club's going to go through and the ball's going to come out hot or slow. A few in the bunkers, again, just to remind yourself how it's going to be on the course. And then with about 30 minutes, 25 minutes to tee time, come on the range and quickly work up the bag, starting with some kind of wedge.
Okay, and do you start with the same club every time for a warm-up when you hit the range?
Not every time. Sometimes it's the 54 degree, sometimes it's the 48 degree.
Okay, but it's always a lofted club.
There's something, yes, always a wedge to start, and it's really just, to help the body. The body's already warmed up before, doing some kind of exercise, I guess. So I'm not completely rolling out of bed to try and make a full swing. But you still want to kind of have a natural golf warm-up as well, and to start getting the feeling going for the round.
So what have we got in your hand here?
This is 54. This is going to be challenging because it's a little dark here, so if I start hitting them fat and thin...
Yeah, that's okay. Our photographer's safe.
Be careful. We'll see.
I'm sure you're safe. How do you feel now, having played 18, compared to how you would at the start of the day? Any stiffness now, or you just feel as you...
That wasn't too bad, actually. Let's see one more, though. That could be... No, I still feel pretty good. I think we can get up to hitting a few drivers in a minute. I like to move up the bag as quickly as possible and get to the full swing with the driver, so that the body is fully opened up, and then I can go back and hit some irons and kind of find my specific yardages for the day.
Can we just do a quick what's in the bag that might be, is there anything different to what people might expect? Or
Yeah.
Not? Okay, go on.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to having some strange golf clubs in the bag. I use a 58 degree lob wedge, a 54 degree sand wedge, and a 48 degree pitching wedge. Then I have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 iron.
Yeah.
This week I'm using a 9 wood.
Okay.
for the deep rough.
Now, how many guys do you think would have a 9-wood in the bag? That's not common.
I know maybe one other this week. Tommy Fleetwood and I are kind of in the 9-wood club.
So that is if you drive into the deep rough? Or
Yeah. Look, it's made to hit the ball very high. So off the fairway into a par 5, it can come in from a very high point, dropping down, landing soft. If it's in the deep rough, you can kind of get the club head to get through the rough and chase it. It's not going to come out high, but where you can only hit maybe an 8-iron with an iron out of that deep rough, you can muscle a 9-wood through, and because of the loft, it'll send it 220 yards still.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's to kind of cheat the ball up there when I've hit it offline.
And then from 9-wood, we're working up to driver?
9-wood, then I have a 5-wood.
Yeah.
And then this one is a mini driver, which is like a 2-wood.
Right.
Yeah. It's
a mini driver.
It's a mini driver, so it's 13 degrees, but it's got a small driver head shape, and then driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as distance goes with you compared to most of the guys on tour, I mean, are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Has it changed over the years?
My distance?
Yep.
I'm probably longer today than when I turned pro 25 years ago.
How so?
I think I'm stronger, but the equipment and the golf ball go further, and I doubt I was creating this much speed back then. Certainly the technology and the equipment helps, but also the research and the science into the training that we do today. You see some guys go to the extreme, like Bryson did a few years ago, of creating speed, and that worked well for him. But a lot of the players now, especially kids coming out of college, are learning about biomechanics for the golf swing and learning how to use the power that they have to the best of their ability.
And speaking to some of the guys around here, I mean, how much importance, emphasis away from pro golf would you place on distance? Because I feel like it's in, when somebody picks up a golf club and you think, right, how far can I hit this?
Yeah. Everyone wants to hit the driver far. That's the fun of golf, of wanting to play golf. You hit a great drive and it goes far, you feel good. But that's where, then after that, it's some control is needed around a golf course. There are a lot of obstacles to get around, and you do need to have some control. But I do think the driver is made for hitting hard, and if that's fun, then that's what you should do.
We changed club?
I haven't, but I can, yeah, sure.
By all means.
Let's go to the 8.
Okay.
And normally I hit my 8-iron about 168 yards, I think, is my kind of stock number. Not that one.
Ball position in the stance.
Yeah.
Has that moved from the 54?
Marginally. It's nice. It just kind of, each club probably just creeps forward just a little bit as I go up in the clubs. It's pretty much a subconscious thing or a natural thing at this point. I'm not really thinking too much about ball position.
And if you were here doing not the warm-up, if you were working on something technical, something specific, would that be as irons, or that could be any specific club itself?
Yeah, it's when I think about some of those sessions I've had, often it's in the short irons. It's just easier to groove a move with a shorter club. Even if I want the driver to swing more over the top, let's say, for example. I think it's easier to do it with a short iron and kind of groove that pattern. It's less stress than hitting 400 drivers. You're going to fall apart at the end of the day.
So you might get the pattern with a different club for a driver, say. You'll use a shorter club.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you hit, I mean, hitting 400 drivers is a lot of work, you know, and a little easier with an iron. Hitting 400 balls I don't really recommend too much anyway, but it is a little bit easier the shorter the club. So often when I've worked on mechanics in the past, I remember long sessions of just hitting buckets and buckets of 8 and 9 irons and just repeating the same thing over and over.
And would you... I'll let you hit this one.
It's okay.
Now, I don't... That sounds great.
Yeah.
That's great, right?
That's great.
Because I don't... I don't know. I mean, you know...
No, it's good.
Very,
It's good. I mean, there is some wind off the left. That looks like a little fade to me. I don't know what you guys... It's straight falling right. Yeah.
Okay, so as someone that was researching your swing, you'll be pleased to know yesterday. Do you hit a natural high fade, or is that nonsense on the internet?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. What is your stock? If you're hitting 10 drives, what are most of them gonna look like?
It's really straight. It's just I don't aim straight enough.
I just asked.
I just don't aim straight enough.
World number one.
I aim down the left and then I hit it straight in the left rough. No, it's...
So you hit it straight, good. Yeah.
It is. Everyone thinks I have, the swing is very nice and that's nice. Some days it feels terrible. But when you do have a very neutral swing, my plane is very neutral, my club face is very neutral, my path is neutral. So when 1 degree moves somewhere, and I'm not planning on that, it goes the wrong way. It's not. I'm not complaining about it, but I have to. That's why I like to get a good feeling in the warm up. Like I'm drawing it today, I'll favour the draw, and I'll try. If I don't like, or even if I'm hooking it, I'll favour the hook and I'll sort it out later because I need to know where to aim on the course because it's really hard to aim straight down the middle and think you're going to hit it straight down the middle all the time.
I see.
So this is 5 iron now. This could get a little shaky.
Yardage here?
This is about 210 yards. Okay.
Do you have will you ever play a shot to preference a club for your next shot because you have a club you like in particular?
Yeah, for sure.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, that was nice. It's about 5 yards left, I think, but it was still a nice hit. On 18 today, I was in the left rough, and I couldn't get to the green, but we had to decide where my next shot was going to be from, and we were trying to leave ourselves 90 yards. So I actually only had to hit 110 yards to get 90, so it was like a little wedge out of the rough.
Because 90 is, what's that, your 50?
It's a 58, but it was into the wind, the 90, so it was going to play close to 100, which is like a perfect number for the 58.
And that's what you ideally want to be. You like your 58?
I did into that pin. I mean, there's lots of things that, like the player and the caddy are processing. The pin was close to the water today on 18, so it needed to just come in and stop. It didn't really. You don't really want it spinning back toward the water, and the more height, the better for that shot to just stop it softly. So I wanted a full shot, not like a half wedge that comes in a bit lower and can release toward the back. Should we try and hit a draw or something?
Yeah, why
Let's
not?
see. Yeah. Okay, not bad.
Take me through that.
So I always set up straight to the target first. Let's say it's over the 100. I set up straight and then I move my feet. I don't move the club face, I just move my feet slightly to the right. And the ball, when I do that, the ball goes back a little bit and then I just swing the same and it should produce a draw shape. And the opposite for a fade, I set up straight to the 100 and then just shuffle my feet to the left. And the ball will push slightly forward and it'll be a fade shape. That's my theory anyway.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So this is a fade?
We'll go for a fade. And then I shuffle left after I'm straight. Okay.
Easy game.
Yeah.
Good.
Should we keep going?
Well, I tell you what, let's talk a little bit about, should we go to now, if we can?
Uh-huh.
You now and golf now, on the PGA board,
Yeah.
I guess playing some good golf, but great golf, but busier off the course than you've ever been?
Oh yeah, it's busy time of life.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I was imagining at this point, but you know, I'm just in that period where it is busy, and I've put myself up to represent the players on the board of the PGA Tour, and there's a lot going on in the world of professional golf at the moment, so that's busy. I have a young family, that's busy, and but traveling around playing golf still, and so I'm happy with that.
And I guess this is something that Adam Scott wouldn't have done 10 years ago, maybe?
No chance.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So what did golf just changed, and
I don't know. I'm sure I've changed too. It's all part of the journey, you know. And I somehow find myself being one of the older guys on the tour, and I never really, for 20 years, I never really looked to the other players on the board or anything, and didn't appreciate what they did for us. But now I do have an appreciation for what they did and putting us in a great place at the PGA Tour and at the DP World Tour. And, you know, so I feel I can have a positive influence for the players on there. And yeah, I've learned a lot about what goes on behind the scenes of professional golf, which I think is a good thing for me to understand.
And as far as playing the game now, are you enjoying it more than ever, less than ever, as much as ever?
I'd say as much as ever. It depends how you play, of course, too.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I don't see the end just yet. But the reality is, I'm one of the older guys, and so I think that helps me enjoy every time I'm out here. I mean, I'm having a great week this week. We're being so well looked after by Hero here, and playing in front of everyone in Dubai. It's fun to come back. It feels like great energy here in Dubai the last few years. I hadn't been here for a while, and I've really enjoyed coming back the last few years.
Does your year look similar year on year, or
it did.
Like Australia? You didn't do Australia over the summer there.
No, I didn't. It's the first time I've not played in Australia. Yeah, and they're tough decisions, but you know, it was a long year. I played well. Finished up at the DP World event here in November, and just felt like I needed a break. If I wanted to come out feeling good and ready to go, I needed to go home and spend some time with my family and get a bit of a break. It's hard to do everything all the time, and I played 24 straight years down there, and I felt it was a tough decision, but I felt like I earned that a little bit. And even a couple years ago when I came back to Dubai in 23, I hadn't played the Desert Classic since 2001,
Wow,
which
it's been that long?
Yeah, it had been a long time. But I rejoined the European tour, and I think it was like a fresh feeling at this point in my career. Okay, a couple of new events to put on the calendar. I hadn't been here for a long time, and it's a great event. Back playing the BMW PGA at Wentworth. I look forward to that every year. It's a great event. So, you know, you have to rejuvenate yourself a little bit sometimes after so many years. So I'm very excited, and I think the back half of last year showed me, at least, that I still have what it takes to win some big events and kind of accomplish hopefully some more of my career goals.
I'm going to look at the ball again and see what you've got in your hand.
Yeah,
this is the closest to a coach I'm ever going to feel.
Five
sort
wood.
of nodding you at the ball. So what have we got now?
5 wood now.
Okay.
Well, it's a bit thin. It's a little thin, that one. It still kind of went pretty straight though.
How far are you hitting your 5 wood, and what sort of loft are you looking for?
Yeah, I hit it 260 yards, and it's 18 degrees. I don't think they're going quite 260 at the moment though. High fades today. The guy on the internet's right.
There you go, I knew it. The internet's always right. All right. Your swing was also described, incidentally, as athletic in quite a lot of places. Yeah, I don't know what exactly that means, but it's. How would you describe it?
That's a good question.
And are you always striving for, or were you always striving for what you would see as sort of, you know, perfection visually?
No.
Or is it more what feels? Like for anybody out there that's thinking, right, what, you know, how do I swing a golf club? What should it look like? Or is it more about how it's feeling to that individual?
I think it's always been a feel thing for me. I grew up trying to copy Greg Norman's swing as a little kid, and then when Tiger turned pro in about 1996, I was 15 or 16, and then I tried to copy his swing.
Really?
Yeah.
So you basically tried to model your swing on Tiger Woods?
Yeah, for sure. And it's not a bad one to do. I just didn't get the same results. It was a good idea. And then, yeah, I think I'm a feel and kind of a visual player. Often I work on rhythm a lot in my swing, probably more than anything else, and I have different players I like to go to for a rhythm visual. I think of Ernie Els a lot. When I'm looking for rhythm, I think of a few other players as well, but yeah, it's just that visual thing. I used to see it on videotape, but now you can go on YouTube and watch a guy swing, and I can try and repeat what I see.
While you've mentioned Ernie, you two good buds? Quite close?
Yeah. Yep.
Because so obviously you won the Masters in 2013, just after you and Ernie at the Open, and it was obviously an incredible achievement for you to come back and win a Masters after the Open. If anyone doesn't know, Adam looked as though he was going to win it, didn't quite happen, but came back and won the Masters the following year.
It's a nice way to say.
Well, I wanted to say it nice. You'd led since the 6th hole, right, on round 1, and then it all unravelled slightly. But Ernie said afterwards, like, well, it sort of came across you were quite close, like good, you know, two pals had sort of gone down 18 together, and he'd won and you didn't quite get there.
Yeah, Ernie and I somehow developed a friendship when I was fairly young on tour, and what a great kind of role model to have. We played a lot of practice rounds together. Being around him, watching him play in the early 2000s was, I say he's the most talented person I've seen pick up a golf club of everyone. It's just he's so good, and so I learned so much, and he was incredibly kind with his time and his advices to me over the years. So we've had a close relationship ever since, and I think, even though it stings to think about losing the Open, it helped it was Ernie and not anybody else.
And how on earth did you, because not a lot of guys might not bounce back, months later to win. How did you come back and do that? Or did it just not really bother you?
Yeah, no, it bothered me, for sure. I was at that point in my career where I was just really on a mission. It was just, I'm just going to keep getting better and I'm going to win a big tournament. And after, it was more shock than disappointment initially after losing the Open. I just couldn't believe that really happened. But when I assessed it all to move on, it just showed me I'm good enough to win a major. Like, it was completely under my control, the outcome of that tournament, and I knew I was good enough to control the outcome of the biggest events. And so it was ultimately a confidence thing, and like I said, I was on a real mission and I just kept going, and luckily 8 months later it all worked out at the Masters.
And what's wearing a green jacket like?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Actually, to finish the story with Ernie, it was soon after I won the Masters, before the British Open. I was at his house with the green jacket and he had the claret jug, and we have a nice photo of us together having the majors at the same time.
Absolutely. Okay, so we teed up the 5.
No, this is the mini driver.
Oh, this is the mini driver?
Yeah, the mini driver. So this club is kind of designed to be more off the tee, and it flies about 280. So the driver flies about 300, this flies about 280, and it's to kind of just sneak it down there a little further when you can't hit driver. Okay. All right. Right. Having a little mic issue here.
Listen, it's looking good.
Yeah, okay, good.
And now driver. What's the driver?
Driver. I'm using a Titleist driver. 45 inches. And it's this one is 10 degrees of loft. I actually use quite a lot of loft compared to some guys, because I tend to hit down on the ball a bit more than most get taught now to kind of hit up on the ball. And my sweet spot is actually pretty neutral. It's kind of around 0. But even 1 down is quite good for me. And the loft helps it stay in the air then, obviously.
Do you have a routine for approaching the ball setup-wise, whatever the club is, or driver-wise?
Yeah, I usually start here, and if you've watched me play golf, you'll always see me address before I address the ball, I hold the club like this, out to the side, and it's purely just to get my grip in the right spot, so that when I bring it around, it's not too strong. If I grip it in front of me, I tend to grip it very strong. But in that same hand position here, which feels strong, and the knuckles turned over, when I bring it around, it's very neutral. So that's kind of why I start like that. And I'm back here looking at my line, and then I just walk in on the line, address the club face, and then I do my best to set my feet while I'm looking at my target. I think we get often really caught up in what's going on down here, and I think the most important thing is the target, and having that picture in your mind clearly helps you swing through and commit to the shot. If you're worried about your toe line, your heel line, your knee line, your hip line, your shoulders. I mean, you're just standing, looking down here, and the place you want to go is out there. So I try and have my mind out and my eyes out there.
So you don't want more than one thing in your head when you're addressing the ball.
Try not to. I mean, I'm just looking at the target and then feeling where I'm gonna swing through fully.
And how far are we hitting driver?
Well, I can hit at 300 if I hit a good one, but I might need a couple to warm up to that.
Wow.
I think you should really only hit it as hard as you can stay on balance. That's kind of how I always, not was taught, but I think if you can picture the end of your swing on balance like that, I think you're generally going to make a better swing.
Do you try and hit every drive as not as hard as you can, but with the same power every single time, or not?
No,
is there
no.
Does sort of, does what's happened on the previous hole change? Does the hole in front of you change it, like
Sure.
genuinely, or?
Yeah, it does. But even if I'm going to hit one hard, I'm still going to have this like balanced visual in my head. So if I hit this one a little bit harder, I hooked it, but I'm still on balance. I'm not falling all over the place, I think. And if you can stay on balance, it's always kind of swinging within yourself, even though you're trying to hit it hard or trying to hit it soft. I think Rory is the best at it. If you watch Rory, I mean, he's so powerful. He's got so much speed. He hits it so far, but he always finishes with a nice full finish on balance.
On the range, do you always want to finish with a good one, genuinely, or can you walk off onto the course after a warm up? Not worried.
Nah, it's got to be a good one. And the last shot I hit on the range is always recreating the first tee shot. So I go through the bag up to driver, and then we're ready to go. And if it's a 3-wood off the first tee, which I don't have, but a mini driver, or if it's a 4-iron off the first tee, that's what I'll finish with.
We're going to hit one more.
Sure.
I'm going to introduce someone else. Take it
Okay.
away.
We'll hit a stinger. Let's hit a stinger 4-iron. We'll pretend it's the Open or something.
Stinger. Describe stinger.
Stinger, back foot, really low, trundling down the fairway. So it's way on the back foot, right? Just to show you where it is. This is a normal 4-iron position, and this would be like a stinger position.
But you're still aiming the same. Hands haven't changed.
I think naturally I'd go a bit further left, because the ball's back, it's going to want to start right. That's my theory anyway. Right.
Yeah?
Happy with that.
Good.
Good one to finish.
Can we have, he's staying, but I want to give him a round of applause for that.
Thank you.
We're going out there and
Thank
hitting
you.
all these balls.
Thank you.
Adam Scott, fantastic. Thank you.
To watch another DP World Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.